on the shoulder for so many teams in the OPL. Direwolves to even make a final, but let alone to win one. First split they bring over Shern. First split that they have, financial backing. They had the boot camp in Korea. The stars aligned and they've been able to pick it up.
I feel like at this point is here where we touch on Shern by saying about how they're the favorites to win at the play-ins at MSI, right? It's kind of like they've won the OPL. Can they actually take that step? Can he live up to his words and do well at the MSI play-ins?
Hello and welcome to day 2 of week 2 of Split 1 of the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I am dry. And I think I'm probably the only person in the city who can say that. The three gentlemen with me, I haven't checked your dampness, but we'll find out throughout the course of the evening. I got Skimmy, I got Rusty, I got Spawn. Welcome, boys.
Thank you very much. Great to be here, Nick. And can I just say your mo looks tremendous today.
It's really prominent on that solo camera.
Thank you very much.
It does.
I am growing it for play.
Oh, you really?
No, but when I was a kid, and I would be really insecure when people said anything about, like, they might go, oh, you got a haircut, and they would mean, I like your haircut, but I would take it as a personal attack because I just had no self-confidence. So I would say, and because I was a drama kid, I would say, oh, I'm growing it out for a play. And they go, oh, okay, because then you can't blame me for how I look. It's the director of the play.
This is open into a counselling session already in the first 5 minutes.
I'm all good now, but I was very damaged when I was growing up. But now I'm embracing what I am, which is white trash.
I like that.
That's just what it is. Welcome to another evening of the OPL. How do we feel after yesterday?
All right.
Yeah.
It was a pretty, I want to say expected, mostly, set of games that we saw yesterday. Some spanners thrown into the works, particularly with the order game.
Everyone that was higher on the ladder beat everyone that was lower on the ladder.
I'm
completely as per the ladder, Nick. Don't let anyone else fool you out there. Completely as per the ladder.
Aurelia bot lanes.
You were, okay.
So,
Speaking of personal attacks.
Yeah.
that had us thinking a lot, right? We were like, even during the draft, like, what was this about? But
I mean, I think when you have a look at it, right, what does Aurelia bring to the composition is a lot of kill threat. And then what is popular at the moment are mobile AD carries. Yep. Like every single one of the AD carries' current weakness is that they lack mobility. Yep. And they're also not really good bruiser busters, like to be perfectly honest. Like they're fine against tanks because they can kite them out. And then they're good against squishy units like mages because they just one-hit them. But bruisers can get on top of them.
Only with their ults, really, yeah.
So I think like that was the idea behind it, I hope. Because that's what they told me when they picked it. But I think, another game, another match, maybe it worked yesterday. It very clearly didn't because the Chiefs were just the better team on the day.
I like that you say, I hope, because it means if not, then what it means is not only did your team lose, but they're also lying to you.
They're not lying to me. They're all very honest.
And that would be really damaging. Heartpiece in the chat says, whole OPL budget went into getting Rusty new pants.
I know. I consciously did this today. I can't see them on camera. It's too dark clothing. But
you can see it there.
No, there we go.
Look at that.
There you go. I actively wanted to not look like the couch because that was becoming a running trend from certain hosts and play-by-plays saying it.
We actually have wardrobe budget now. We can all go shopping. Are we doing it as a group or are we doing it separately?
Should we pool our money and just buy one really expensive item of clothing?
We should, and then all take turns.
Like a wedding dress!
what about that?
I'll do that. I want a new leather jacket.
When we were cleaning out the wardrobe, what was that thing that you found? It was like that
gold
gold
still got
jacket.
that, don't you worry.
That has to be worn for a special occasion.
Coming.
Like
Special?
one day.
You mean Friday.
Okay, well, let's do it. Next week.
Earlier in chat, it's Itchy Jom, I think, says, talking to me, no one wants to hear about your hair, bruh. I think this person definitely doesn't want to hear about the clothing options as well. But you're just going to have to deal with it because welcome to the OPL. But we don't just talk about clothes, we also play some League of Legends. Let's take a look at the games. that we will be watching this evening. Gravitas versus Pentanet, game number 1. Avant take on Order for game 2. Game 3 is Legacy versus Direwolves, and rounding out not only the evening but the weekend, Chiefs and Mammoth. What is the game of the day?
I always like early on in the split when we look at teams that have the same score. Because obviously you haven't played everyone yet. So it really interests me whether, Gravitas's 1-2 is equal to Pentanet's 1-2 and whether that's really an equal reflection and those guys are in the same pack. The other game that I'm interested in, just for, being a fan of League of Legends sake, is whether the Direwolves are a top tier contender and they have the first chance to prove it today against the Legacy lineup.
Yeah, there's also the Chiefs taking the title defenders in Mammoth in the last game.
You like that tweet, didn't you?
That was a cheeky tweet.
You had to get it in there.
I had to. It's great value.
Look, technically, is it technically correct?
They're defending the title.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
That is true.
definitively technically
The brand is defending the title.
Yeah.
There's only one person there who actually was involved in that.
Yeah.
But still.
It's like when they tell me, when Carbon tells me that Legacy has won OPL. And it's like, no, you haven't. Avant has won the OPL when the Legacy lineup played for Avant.
Yeah.
The Legacy lineup did. They all have one title each, but they did not have it under the Legacy organization. Just like the Chiefs, when they won Autumn that year, won it under Immunity, not the Chiefs Esports Club. So I think that, you have to, because if you start blurring the line between like core and club, which is it's a very esports thing to do. Let's get realistic.
But that being said, you're a sports fan. I'm a sports fan. I can say that, Liverpool won the Premier League 30 years ago. But that's the same thing, right?
No, but what I'm saying is so LeBron James, when he moves, doesn't take Cleveland's title with him. It's not like you can discount, Cleveland didn't win the title, LeBron did. So we'll take that off Cleveland and we'll give it to wherever the heck, Lakers, where LeBron plays at the moment.
It's not like the Brisbane Bears won a title and became the Lions. It's like AV won a title and then the roster left and AV still exists.
Yeah.
So they won the title and they're still there.
Skimmy, how does this relate to either my clothes or my hair?
It's just always impeccable, mate. I'm just mesmerised by your eyes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the roster's impeccable.
Neither clothes nor hair involved in my eyes, but that's okay. Something that we will be doing this evening as well is some more Nick bags. So we want your questions, whether they be about League of Legends, but we much prefer them when they're medical issues, relationship dramas, business advice, pet problems, questions about glasses, whatever you want.
I want a new GOAT question.
AskNickBoy@gmail.com. Send them in.
I think the GOAT question ever, we were talking about this. GOAT is greatest
Oh,
of
right,
all
yes.
time.
Yeah.
Is the person that was getting put on shelves in their refrigerator.
It's the funniest thing.
That was the best question because I had enough backstory that I felt like I had an opinion to give on it, right?
Yeah.
But it also wasn't so closed off that there was only one right answer, which is a completely different game. So I'm calling out new GOAT question. If there's not a GOAT question, I'm canning Nick bag.
For those of you who weren't here last year, someone worked at a butcher.
Yeah.
And they had a problem with a co-worker would constantly pick them up and put them on a high shelf in the freezer. and then they felt
locked
like they
them
were
in,
trapped.
right?
Yeah, and they locked them in. But then we kept getting more information over multiple Nick bags. At one point it was revealed there was a second door. And it was like, oh my God, this is like the Chronicles of Narnia or something. There's real twists in this thing. All right, let's take a look at the lineup for game number 1. It is Gravitas versus Pentanet. Do we have a graphic? There we go. There it is. Gravitas lineup. Skimmy, talk me through it.
Yeah, nobody beats Prayless, and we got Puma, K-pop. We just got everyone. We got the boys. I tried to go for the.
Nobody beats Puma.
I tried to go for the thing, but as soon as I got put on the spot,
This
choked there.
This Rusty said before, you got to stop nicknaming things because it gets.
He got to me.
So say
He
it,
choked
and then you have your rhyming convention.
nobody beats Puma when K-pop is playing,
Prayless.
and it's
Yeah,
Praylist.
but what
it's
if-
Praylist Spotify playlist.
If someone asked me what is the mid laner of Gravitas, I would then have to say the entire roster. You know?
He drops the beat.
It's true. It's true. It's just
DJ
not
mid
working.
laner.
It's not working. Hopefully it's working for them today, though. As Jake pointed out, same win rate as Pentanet.
Do you know what's on the lineup today? The
What?
Jake Spawn Tiberia Award of not that bad. I'm bringing it back.
Oh, this is exciting.
If Gravitas win this game,
Okay.
they are not that bad. Because coming into this season, a lot of people had written Gravitas off.
As bad.
And I'm going to put my hand up and say, I was selling tickets to that concert, right? But if they win today against a team that I rated quite highly coming into the offseason, maybe a little bit too much personal knowledge of the players, Nick, then I would say that Gravitas is an early contender for the Not That Bad award.
Not that bad. Not that bad is not that bad this early in the split.
Because I've been enjoying watching them play, to be honest. They've had moments.
Yeah.
And that's like, I mean, that's how you start building fans. That's how young players get confident. And I think that if they string a series of those moments together, then they could have a game on their hand and they could take down Pentanet today.
Well, let's take a look at the Pentanet lineup as well, because if they lose to a team that's not that bad, what does that make Pentanet, Jake?
Bad. Buy a Panther in the top lane, Sully in the jungle, get back in the mid lane, Praetus at AD carry, and Rogue as support. Of course, Western Away is their coach. This is a team that, once again, I know pretty well.
Yep.
And I think that they have really good individual pieces. And Rogue said himself that he felt like this team had come together around Western Way better than any of his previous lineups. And I had heard that behind the scenes as well, and I was expecting good things. But Rusty, so far, this lineup just has not worked out.
Yeah, it's been quite shaky, and I think there's been some really strong draft strategies and plans coming in, and it seems like a lot of it is actually failing in the execution beyond the plan itself. So it is something that may be on the Rift to be fixed, and we have to see how they continue to grow, because they might get the Not That Good award.
Yeah, because I was going to say that this lineup, another coach that I really like is Denian, right? Western Way, Denian, two of my favourite coaches. I talk about all the time. And I feel like Legacy last year were a really well-coached lineup, right? They had really good ideas coming onto Summoner's Rift, and they had these crafty picks that would trap you. That's actually how they beat us so many times, like purely just through Denian's great drafts. But I feel like at the end of the day, sometimes it's on your players to go out on Summoner's Rift and click buttons are really good. And I would say that a couple of the times, this Pentanet lineup has just lost because of mechanical ability in the game, and that's something that's very hard to fix.
And you don't even need to click buttons that good. You just have to be not that bad at clicking buttons. So the barrier of entry to clicking buttons is
It's not that
actually
high.
comparatively low and not that high. Please
NPL
send
plug?
in your questions to asknickboy@gmail.com, and we'll be back with game number 1 after this short break.
Jumping into Mecca's Champions League for the very first game of the day. It is week 2. It is Saturday. Pentanet GG taking on Gravitas, as the desk have already claimed. It's a big one for both of these teams to make a point.
Absolutely. Pentanet, higher expectations for where they're currently standing on the ladder. Gravitas, no expectations, still being able to defy those odds and continue to impress us in those small ways here and there. And it was mentioned already just before we had our Legends of Runeterra break that they have moments, and that's something that we've been pretty closely inspecting from all of the teams in the OPL that are in the middle of the table is what are those moments, how frequent are those moments. For Gravitas, they just don't have the glue yet. They've got the moments here and there, but they don't know how to put them together to make a game.
And what's interesting to note here, Rusty, is Rogue for Pentanet GG has only played so far Leona and Fresh, and Gravitas have decided to choke that out. They've banned it away with a blanket ban onto Akali as well, and a first priority pick on towards the Brom.
Yeah, he still has the Nautilus, and tank champions are pretty much the way to go right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that from the likes of Rogue. It does like himself the hook champions, so we'll get through these picks now from Gravitas' side with Brom already locked in, see where else they choose to go. 80 carries are plenty, and that's not going to be the priority they go towards just yet. Making life easier for themselves and a good scaling option in that Ornn.
It's interesting because on the flip side of that, the bans from Pentanet GG are focused on towards Praelis, the remaining member of this Gravitas lineup, taking away his Olaf, as well as the Echo that we saw find some success when they went up against Mammoth in week number 1. But they have gone for the Aphelios here, so they're going to go for the blind pick on arguably the best AD carry right now.
I do find that Echo ban to be quite curious. They just really wanted to take it away from Praelis with comfort, I suppose. At the end of the day, Echo's not the greatest champion running around. One more patch, I believe, until it gets comprehensively nerfed in the jungle, and you won't see it again. So sorry about that one, Praelis. Maybe that one win is the only time you'll get to see the Echo. Nevertheless, we've got the Lucian locked in. Like I mentioned, 80 carries are plenty. Now the Lucian, most of the time, pretty much all the time, is a solo lane champion. So still 80 carries to be banned by Pentanet right now if they would choose, with that Aphelios locked in early. So you most likely expect that Misfortune and that Senna to be taken off the board.
Nobody, very comfortable on this Ornn. He's found the most success on it so far. Only been playing the Ornn and the Mordekaiser. Let's see a Rakan ban come out here. We've talked about it before, being a nice little matchup to try and counter out what Braum can achieve. And another jungle band focus from Pentanet GG, removing the Lee Sin.
Not going to be focusing the AD carries. Now, it is worth pointing out, you mentioned the champions that nobody has played being the Orns and the Mordekaisers. Role-playing, definitely something that they want to be doing. Praelus is meant to be the guy. And we said this yesterday, if he's not getting double-digit kills in a game, the chances of them winning are a little bit lower, maybe even significantly lower at this point in the OPL split, being 2 weeks in. So focus Praelus. The team around him, most likely you would expect, will play those auxiliaries, the things that will complement him. But this game, they've gone for Illusion in their first 3. So something else on the team that can carry is a thing that you'll have to consider.
Obviously, Elise is still available in that sort of trinity, if you will, of top-tier junglers. But talk me through the Soraka ban. We've seen a bit of a resurgence of it in the top lane, most notably. I know you love looking at it and talking about how fun it is.
Well, Skimmy, it's an Ornn, and if they picked Soraka, you would despise your very existence and may want to quit in a professional game. So that is the reason they banned it. There's not much more you can say in this case, but thankfully, you don't have to endure such torment.
That is an Alistair pick. Yeah. Very first we've had of the OPL 2020. I'm very excited to see what he can achieve. Spawn putting in a solid work yesterday in MPL.
He's definitely a good Alistar player. Rogue always has been. Loves being very aggressive. He's a Hex Flash user on most of his champions that have engaged, such as the Thresh. This time it will be the Alistar. Second around that one out against the Ornn. One of my favorite matchups as well. And we've gone for the Vayne down here for Puma. They've really shifted the direction here that they're looking at. Now, the Vayne is particularly good into Alistar if you are a very good player. It comes down to a skill matchup, in my opinion anyway, between the support of Pentanet, which is Rogue, and the AD carry of Gravitas, which is Puma, because you can condemn the combo. You can get in before he does, but that's really hard to do. You have to know his intent, and you have to be able to play the lane well and control your positioning. So, big test here for Puma and K-pop if they can survive this lane, if not prosper, by being able to counter that Alistar out. As top lane, you would expect is going to be to have a, I'm going to say have a very good time by a Panther into nobody without junglers being involved. Junglers obviously making the large part of the difference.
I'm incredibly excited, as you mentioned, for the spot lane matchup. Obviously playing at land, so ping a non-factor. You'll be looking at making sure that that can come across big time. But the Alistar, I love this support champion. One of those ones that really fallen out the fold of things, especially the likes of Nautilus and Leona, even Braum. Taken to the forefront there with those tanky supports.
He's pretty happy past level 6 Rogue once he can get out of the Braum stun, but the dangers are there earlier of being tagged by the Braum as you try and combo, and then you're just locked. Everything used, Aftershock wears off by the time you're stunned and they start dealing bonus damage to you. So worth considering. Dangerous across the map, you would have to say here actually, for every respective lane, except for top lane. He's just going to hang out. Ornn does his best to survive the lane, can cheat his recalls with item purchases. So my eyes are definitely on Praelus. They always will be, to be fair, when Gravitas plays.
I think when you compare both of these, you'd definitely be wanting to look at the junglers to see how they can influence these laners. My eyes, being a support and AD carry player myself, is going to be on this bottom lane to see how quickly this Vayne can come online. And if Aphelios, with his Weapon Master arrangement, is enough to try and dissuade those major threats.
Next lane, please. I don't get backs out of control. Thank you.
Next lane. The Observer.
Next lane, please. There's a lot of annoying champions, actually, in this game from Pentanet's side. Biopanther's the most visually pleasing to watch when he does the sit-up, so we'll give him that. Thank you, LCK, for showing us. Do them! No.
Well, we do have Gravitas' manager here, Omo, on standby. You come into this week, as the analyst desk mentioned, both sitting on a score of 1 and 2. Would you echo the same point that Spawn made, that this is a big, big telling of the strength of this Gravitas roster if you were to get a win today?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. And, well, hopefully we do get a win here today, because 2 and 2 doesn't look so bad. 1 and 3 doesn't bode so well for the rest of our split.
And how do you feel coming into your opponents today of Pentanet? They've had a pretty shaky start to the season, you would have to say. Do you feel like you can definitely take it to these guys in this game?
I wouldn't say definitely, but I feel pretty confident going to Pentanet because of where I feel their strengths lie and where their weaknesses lie. I think we don't match up so badly against them.
And what is that for the viewers?
I think Pentanet have a clear game plan for most of their games, and I feel like Pentanet's strength come from the pregame in terms of how they draft and how they plan for the matches, and I feel like we are quite prepared for what they want to do here today.
Speaking of the draft, we saw a heavy focus on banning away Prayless in his champion pool. You know, given that so many have mentioned that he is the herald of this roster, what was your thoughts on that approach by Pentanet GG?
I think it's fine. I think it's a good approach. But we do have many more picks prepared for Prayless, and maybe we'll have some exciting ones coming the next couple of weeks. And I think we actually took a similar approach by banning out Rogue as well. So I think both teams had a kind of similar idea, just towards different positions.
Beautiful. Well, best of luck. We'll catch
Thank
up
you.
afterwards. And let's crack on. Pentanet GG up against Gravitas, as we've been keeping our eyes fixated on in this bottom lane.
And if you're an LCK viewer yesterday, you probably would have seen a whole boatload of set. You know what, you've seen it in general. But one of the things that I was hoping to see up there from Bio, didn't get a chance to glimpse if it was actually happening, was an E start. Starting with the E, pulling your opponent in, it was almost guaranteed conquer a procs at level 1, right? Someone goes to hit a minion, and you're able to just stand there, punch him twice, pull him back in, punch him twice, basically conquer a proc, and you win lane. Didn't get to see any massive aggression from BioPanther, in fact, at level 1. And the way that he's played this lane out is very different to how Set loves that lane positioning. He's pushing towards his opponent's tower, trying to control the minion wave. The risk is that he dies. So you can see a very early movement from him to try and place some vision, perhaps. But ward's already there from his opponent, and Elise is already here.
The pings are furious with the junglers on opposite sides of the map. BioPanther looking for the solo kill. Nobody forced to burn that flash on out. Teleport coming in here from Get Back as Rumble wants to try and join this fight, but it's going to do nothing but dissuade Prayless from sticking around in that skirmish.
Yeah, BioPanther actually wasting his flash on the backside there. Did not have the spells up, so just flashed forwards for the sake of it. So a bit of a mistake there from Pentanet's top laner, and what turned out to be a good moment of being ganked, as Sully now tries to make his trades on the opposite side of the map, but most of that jungle has already been cleared. Gromp about to spawn, however, and a threat towards the bot lane turret maybe, as Teleport's there from the Set. And look at the wave that was missed top. So this is pretty good overall here by Pentanet.
Sully wanting to deny with that counter jungle, as you mentioned. The camp's not being there, and a ward will spot him out. So the bot lane of Pentanet GG unable to push that on through and sort of replicate what we saw yesterday with that early focus on taking down plates.
Yeah, good vision here from Gravitas. Good vigilance, most importantly. And that was a good first move from them. The gank in top lane was sound in concept. It was the execution where things went a little bit awry. Just too early, you would say nobody. Didn't have the follow-up from the Elise to really threaten. And then the teleport dissuading them obviously does save Bio's life. So Get Back really the savior in that situation.
Prayless being pretty active here, just going to run straight to the river. Try to go and take down that scuttle. But BioPanther taking an alternative route back to the lane. And he'll steal that one away.
That Scuttle went deep into top lane. Usually doesn't even get to that bush before it rebels. He's also gone for the dagger and the longsword here is Bio. Clearly going towards the Trinity Force in his build. It's always good to find that out early, if it's a Black Cleaver or if it's a Trinity Force. Well, he's made that very well known that he wants to punch faster than the average Set.
Sully coming here for the second time in a row. The ward still remains, but K-pop is in trouble. Forced to burn that flash from Puma. Down to half now with Sully, who flashes across. The Ignite comes out. Puma is aggressive, and Puma finds kills. Get Back now may look to try and stick around and find this 1v3. He's going to flash. He's going to knock himself away. Beats was on the hunt down that river. And Get Back, you can see from his reaction in the camera there, very lucky to get away.
Yeah, lucky to be alive, and the jungler for Pentanet dying, looking for Braum by himself, of course, and with no reinforcements available from his bottom lane, just dies. Another mistake to be seen here from Gravitas. And the dragon goes over. We'll see this one more time. Sully gets the smite a little bit late there, of course, and then it's the dash away, the heal used by Puma. And at this point, not even knowing that Get Back is there. 100% no idea, just flashes confidently, knowing he has the kill. So good damage calculations there from the AD carry of Gravitas. And the reinforcements were available from Prayless to ensure that second kill almost there, and no one able to help.
And it really hurts there for Pentanet's bot lane because they were on that blue side, unable to actually assist with that one. Stuck by the tower, left to be an observer in that situation.
Elise now moving towards bot lane. Does not have mobility boots, so will be spotted. Most likely just going to clear some wards with the sweeper. But still keeping the pressure up, utilizing the fact that the bot lane just got the kills. They're the ones that now start to become that win condition. We'll have the Ornn to power Puma up later as well, so make sure it's okay now. Don't let things turn around, similar to how it went yesterday for Mammoth, unfortunately. They had the good moment, immediately undone. Praelis' expertise able to at least slow that down. But here we go again.
They're back here again, very aggressive in their attempt to try and force this one out. Rogue doesn't have the unbreakable will, but over to him, he jumps on in. They find one, they take Puma down. They're going to go for the double kill. K-pop deleted, the boys in blue coming in strong. This time, they connect.
Just a little bit late there is Gravitas on the response. They were in the area, but not close enough as they do get the kills. Punishing the no summoners, of course. From the side of Gravitas, well done. Recall also going to be cancelled there cheekily by Praelis. And top side of the map, you can see the push here by Nobody just to get some turret plates. It hurts, definitely hurts Puma because the wave starts to get lost. But at the end of the day, it's the 2-for-1. They get a plate top lane as well. Things could be significantly worse. And now the summoner spells that have been burned are what you have to look towards next. Teleport by the top laner of Pentanet, heal by Praetor. Flash is not available for mid jungle or support. There's a moment on the map. There is opportunities that start to develop.
Sully's been a patriot in these situations as he's been the one taking the focus off those towers, and as a result has fallen down twice in the 2 attempts that they've made so far. As we're going to see what appears to be a lane swap already, 8 minutes into this game. Both respective bot lanes moving now towards the top, and you'd have to imagine now, Rusty, this is because that Drake's been taken away. The focus shifts now to that Herald. Yeah,
pretty generic decision making for the pro players, of course, but for everyone at home, as you would understand, 2 minutes, 25 seconds till a 4% AD AP buff. Herald exists. Innately just provides more for you, right? Especially at the current moment. If you're bottom for 2 more minutes to secure a dragon, you just lose Herald and maybe a turret. So not worth staying there. You flip the map completely. Both teams have done this. Gravitas keep their top laner here, however, and that's the one major advantage that they're looking to play towards, and that's why they start this Herald seemingly uncontested right now, and will be free.
Going to pick this one up, of course. Second now respond in the bot lane for what Nobody was able to achieve in the top. He's getting 3 plates right now, as Ornn did have to rotate on through.
That's a lot of plates.
To pick up a fair bit of gold here.
And minions being lost, so that'll actually add up to an experience difference. So this is not insignificant by any means. It's quite good for BioPanther, and he'll be happy with that. At the end of the day, Ornn is still Ornn, and very early into the piece here started to sacrifice his own lane for the betterment of the team.
Could see Gravitas there for a second, posturing for the top lane. They had 4 members, 2 in the river, potentially committed to trying to get their Rift Herald in lane. And trying to push that one on down. They decide to return to lanes and back to farming and consider the next play.
Cheeky craft there from Nobody. Wants himself a clothy boy. Just make sure that he'll be fine in the trades. Most likely wants to reset anyway after the next wave, so we'll see. No money anymore, of course, just because he shopped. So if I were him, wouldn't have done that. Would just go back after the next wave on the reset anyway and get some control wards with it. That's just me.
As you can see there, very minor differences in the gold count. Mainly focused around Jarvan and Set, making up what is a 500 gold difference this early on.
And that's a good thing. For Gravitas, that's a great thing, right? Pentanet are spoken towards by Omo as well. They're strong through their strategizing. They're strong through their planning. They've got the general behind them in Western Way trying to rally the troops, but the execution is where these things have started to go missing. Gravitas knowing how they play it out, being able to go pretty much even 10 minutes into the game. It's very good.
My worst nightmare is whenever I see a Vayne get later into the game. More items, 3, 4 items
don't worry.
onwards.
Vayne will hit that 1 item point and just start inting because it's Vayne.
They get the Blade of the Rune King, you go, uh-oh. They get the Rage Blade, you go, double uh-oh.
I play Yasuo, so I can tell you exactly what goes into the minds of these people. I have an item spike, I can beat everyone. And then there's 4 of them, you're like, well, I mean, I'm here.
You just furiously ping the team, enemies missing.
Get a turret.
Now, the Herald gets dropped in mid lane, uncontested at this stage. The Ornhorn comes across, it's going to find knockup value onto a few.
Puma's in a weird flank position,
They're
they're on.
The situation is the Cataclysm to try and find things as BioPanther takes on 3. He's punching left, right and center, but Puma's putting on a show right now, uncontested. And he is a happy man to find this Drake.
I mean, he's just an assassin sitting in the back line. Puma only hits the Alistar. Gravitas still win the fight. really it's nobody coming in early, and good damage from the rest of the roster as 4. Vayne just gets carried to the finish line with a free kill. Dragon goes over. It's the second of the game. And they do get plates taken down in mid, though they're not there to receive the gold for them as they summoned that Herald. So, I mean, overall, the gold shifted from being in favor of Pentanet by a small amount to comprehensively towards Gravitas. We see this again. Or knock up. Very good. Dragon has done some serious work. Get Back just dies before he can even contribute to the fight. Biopanther's trying his hardest to get kills, but he had nothing left to offer. And they can't get through nobody, while Puma's just assassinating people. Just clean, easy to execute team fighting there from Gravitas. Starting to feel like maybe they're not that bad.
Well, Puma's having a very good time, as you highlight. Able just to chill around the Dragon Pit and stack up those Silver Bolt stacks. Lucian, the first one to get the Blade of Ruin King online. But I'm sure Puma isn't too far away to respond in that fashion. Pentanet GG now going to get a 3-man rotation up to the top lane. Actually, looks to be a 4-man rotation to try and take this tower down.
If there's one thing that Pentanet are very well versed on and very skilled at, it is taking plates and knowing which turrets to go towards. That was proven yesterday as well in their game against Avant, where they did ultimately lose the game, but they got such a strong advantage through the turret gold on their AD carry and on their jungler. So once again, you can see that in play. Mid lane now going to be the response here by Gravitas, however. As Rogue's got a big flank, teleports are coming on, it's on.
He's coming on in with a 3-man stun. Looking to try and make this one happen as the Equalizer goes across. They're going to run out for the most part. K-Pop getting slam dunked by Panther once again, trying to go for the 1v3, but he just can't find it. The Ornhorn delaying the engage from the rest of the Pentanet roster. Now they're stuck under mid-tower, and Gravitas licking their lips with joy.
Ultimate used there as well by Aphelios. Maybe gets a stun onto Beats. That's all you're really going to see from it. A deterrent ultimate there. That was an early teleport by Get Back. The plan was in place from Pentanet. But at the end of the day, the execution doesn't matter too much. It didn't feel like it was a cohesive play. And, I mean, I'm just going to say it straight up. It feels like Biopanther's the most underwhelming set that I've seen so far in the OPL. He goes on K-Pop, tries to bring him into the fight and just imps. The rest of his team's running away. And he gives them the kill. Flash forwards from nobody. Unfortunately, doesn't get the knock up, but Bio's already dead.
Be interesting to know the reasoning behind that. If it was a disconnect of communication.
I mean, he's been doing it mechanically since laning phase. I don't want to continue to harp on about it. We'll let it speak for itself as the game goes on, but I'd like to see some redeeming moments now.
Blade of Ruin King now online for the Vayne, so major power spikes for both of them. The slowing component going to be great for trying to peel themselves away from what appears to be mainly the dive squad of Pentanet GG.
Yeah, Item Spike's pretty big across the board here, actually, from the side of Pentanet. Compare that to your opponents. 700 to 1,000 gold really left wanting between them before they can get those item spikes themselves. Not too far away, but it means that right now, Gravitas will be pretty happy looking for those fights, looking for those moments, maybe get a pick off. Some of the spells are the one last thing that they'd like to get back for a couple of them. Beats not having it does make it harder. We'll see how they play out this Herald, because an Ornn ultimate could actually herald the start of a losing game here from Pentanet if they're not careful.
First tower, bottom lane fell. That was passively to minions. Top lane is low, mid lane's being pushed in as Puma sticks around for the meantime. Culling goes across, but Beats takes more beating than he would like. Herald down to 1,500, the Ornhorn goes out, nobody's jumping into that one. Who's going to pick it up? We're going to have to wait and see as Moonlight Vigil comes out, stacking that with the Equalizer, splitting this team apart in the middle of the bush, down straight through River. Nobody fighting the first one, nobody fighting a double, and nobody dying on Gravitas.
And that felt like the fight that Pentanet might be able to win. Incredible work from Praetus at the start of it before the fight even breaks out. But a Fed Ornn just walks up to their Herald, steps up to the plate and says, what are you going to do about it? Now the Herald does go to Sully in the end. He's not going to be able to steal it. There's no smite there for him. We'll get to see this one more time, but Praetus out-trades Beats here, takes a whole host of his health off, and also throws his ultimate out before the fight even really breaks out. But just watch, nobody. Who could stop him? He's just going to sit here and buy a ridiculous amount of time, and this still looks good for Pentanet until it looks horrible. As once again, they're able to kite back, use the Lucian, use the Vayne. They just have so much damage if they're kiting you, and that's what makes it look amazing. And Bio also entered again, just as an update.
Okay, he jumps in, and he's just trying to make those plays. I mean, I know Set is deceptively tanky with that grit stored up.
He's a one-dimensional champion. It's impossible not to die if you've committed to going in, and he did commit to going in. He just did it after his team.
That has to hurt, though, from Pentanet GG when you see the equalizer go across. Those other two members locked out of the fight. Elise and Vayne unable to really assist. Ornn doing the work. As they pick up their third dragon, Rift Herald going to get put into the top lane with Get Back able to pick up that gold. Rogue now going to be in a vicinity, followed up by Sorely as well, so wanting to try and get some macro pressure back on the board. But Gravitas, they're on Soul Point, and they're up 2k.
And nice little Herald usage, knowing of course that Gravitas were moving towards the Drake, so they'll get some good damage onto the inner turret and top lane, but no gold to be seen for that unfortunately, as no plates and no turret dropping. There was a Lucian in place to defend that one. We're also hitting the level 11 point for the mid laner of Gravitas, which means it is very close, very nearby for the rest of the team, particularly Nobody, which means he's also one level closer to evolving his items, and then a level closer yet to evolving his teammates, and that's a big moment for the already in the lead Gravitas roster.
Teleports available for both top laners. Obviously, Pentanet have the advantage with a second.
And to contrast that for the opponents here, Pentanet, of course, Get Back is a big player that you have to look towards. He just ticked over to 11, has got the Leandri's Torment there. He's now actually hitting a pretty big spike window, even though it's one item, very much a level-based champion is that Rumble. Can do significant work if they fight in the correct location or their opponents are able to walk themselves down the red carpet of death.
Gravitas feeling pretty confident for the meantime though. They've stuck around mid, and they've asserted themselves with a whole host of vision, as you would have just observed there previously. Biopanther with that teleport available, as I mentioned with Nobody too, sitting to the side lane.
On one of those champions that's actually ridiculously well equipped to deal with side lane pressure, just having that wave clear himself, building full tank anyway. Sion's the other one that's close but can be easily interrupted as champions start to scale against him. Very hard to do that against an Ornn.
Get Back is going to clear this lane out. Have to wait and see how Pentanet GG decide to try and set this thing up.
Well, Get Back's almost got his teleport up, so they can sit themselves into a 1-3-1 if they wanted now. The question becomes what lane assignments really work for them. Just leave him alone. Let him recall. I would say that Rumble can't really successfully kill the Lucian. There's just too much mobility there, so you may want to put the Rumble against the Ornn if you're looking to threaten. At the end of the day, I don't think the 1-3-1 would be for anything other than to set up a macro type play. Just get minion control and look towards where your 3 are. The Alistar obviously wanting to engage and go forwards, as does the Jarvan. It's not a survival type of 3 in a 1-3-1. Oh, that's so annoying.
Next Drake will be up in 2 minutes, and that will time out quite nicely as Puma, the last member to pick up their summoner, will have flash available. Crucial for him.
We need to start making a mental checklist on what things can one-hit Aphelios turrets, because I haven't seen something just outright one-tap that turret yet, whereas like Zyra plants, Heimer turrets, there are things.
Yep. I think I'm going to be keeping an eye on Rogue, because I say, as an Alistar player, you want to be obviously so creative with your pathing, how you're going to look to try and find those routes, those avenues of access, to try and find those big wombo combo setups.
Yeah, Rogue looking for a good moment here. Ornn, visible bot lane, would have to teleport. Prayless, oh, they got him.
Looking for it. Cataclysm goes out in the mid lane. Unbreakable will used very early on as Solely goes golden. The rest of the team collapse on in. Solely on his own. Pulling a Biopanther, falling on down. Rogue to fall as well. 2 members dropping just like that. Conveniently Rusty in time for Baron to spawn.
Yeah, that will be the Baron for Gravitas, unless Pentanet can get there. Note that Get Back still has the equalizer, still has that level 11 Rumble ultimate to throw down in the pit. This could be a lot of damage. It could actually deter the Baron if he can get there to use it. Praedyth also has that Aphelios ultimate. Gravitas turn.
Oh, Gravitas won't let Praedyth sit back and be pretty with this one. They're going to go for this one. Praedyth on the flank, looking to try and rappel across, but they do manage to emit enough pressure to push not only themselves away, but stop the Baron attempt.
Yeah, the turn a little bit disjointed, but the idea was still sound. They just couldn't find their kills in the end, so they'll reset. Well done here by Pentanet's 3-man unit that was still alive to deter the Baron. It's a 4,000 odd gold lead. It'll stretch, but that doesn't explode with the Baron buff now not there. See this again. Prayless actually with an incredibly timed cocoon. I don't think he had vision in that bush. He was just reactionarily throwing that. Ornn gets here pretty fast, honestly, with the teleport. They'll just flash forwards and collect the rest of it. It was Pentanet going forwards with engage, but not having damage. Just straight up.
It's a bit of a dire situation right now from what we've seen. Bit of a disconnect with these engagements. Unable to come together as a full 5-man unit. And Gravitas will welcome them every single time of the day with a composition that is very well equipped, you'd say, to pick apart members.
Rogue hunting once again, has the flash actually, so will be looking for those moments, but has lost his health.
Drake was low, and Drake will not be stolen away, so that's a Dragon Soul picked up here. Mountain one at that as the Ornhorn goes on to Praetor. He's low, he's stunned, he's CC'd out in Narnia. Vilepanther stuck in the pit himself. He needs support. Soli says hello. Soli says clap, but Soli will fall on down. It's looking good so far, and potentially Pentanet GG could get themselves back into this one as the flame goes spinning across. Shutdown comes across there onto Ornn, and now they just need one more for the full 5-man ace, and Pentanet GG will find it.
And they'll collect the ace. The cost is high. It was a Mountain Soul still successfully given over to Gravitas. It's a very big deal. But you can see the execution there. Rogue playing very well. Praetor putting down a ridiculous amount of damage even at low health. And they're all stuck fighting on top of a Rumble Equalizer. We'll see this again because Rogue starts with no health to his name. He's basically out of the fight. The turret comes down, Steel not available. Sully sacrificed his life effectively for that, but will choose to flash out. Now Beats and Puma, the damage dealers of Gravitas, separated from where the damage needs to be. Takes them a few seconds to get in, but Beats just dies to Praetor, who then with no health places another turret down and starts to get more kills constantly from across the wall. One of the most impossible things for any other AD carry in League of Legends. But Aphelios can do it. Beautiful. He can do it all. And they'll get the ace.
And on the back end of that, you would argue, surely, Rusty, that that's actually advantageous for Pentanet GG, because now we'll see some Elder Dragon spawn.
Yeah, it's good for Pentanet. First of all, they get that momentum. They prove that they can still win those team fights. But now they have to contend with the shield that starts there on hyper carries like the Vayne. So it's a little bit harder to actually kill those carries in the first place. That's, you know, the first tick of the Rumble Equalizer that goes missing now.
Yes.
It just means that it's a little bit harder to do. And now Gravitas, they'll start this Baron straight away. Set bot lane with teleport. At the very least, they would like to get the teleport out of the top laner. He's teleported. Now the choice is there. Disengage or engage. And it's going to walk away and take that. Very smart play here from Gravitas. Just removing, nullifying any advantages that Pentanet have, but they can still get back down there and have another option.
There are just no summoners available. Would have been a very risky all-in fight if it had broken out. Get back the only one with that flash available. Both himself and Praetor now sitting on shutdowns, as is Puma's Vayne. So there is gold that will start to really add up in these later portions.
Definitely at a calm before the storm moment. Baron's still an available objective, but the dance for vision control will be back and forth, waiting for the sweepers to be up and available. Only one control ward there for Gravitas to place down, just has been, which means they've even missed wards in the river. So really a reset's in order for more wards. They're just delaying that reset, looking for picks.
Gravitas thirsty for this Baron acquisition. Reassert their dominance in this game.
They even show themselves top lane looking for the turret. So the time that this will take for Gravitas to set themselves up, there should be some control re-established under the Rift by the Gravy boys. Sorry, by Pentanet, actually.
The Gravy boys?
Yeah, Groovy Toes.
I like it. We're going to see the recalls coming on out now.
No fears that they're doing the Baron. There's still a ward just sitting in the river. So they're very comfortable. Just sitting back, buying some time, getting closer to some item spikes. See what they start to pick up for themselves. It's the most important part of the game right now is that everybody gets control wards and establishes themselves in the correct areas on the map. Everyone but the Vayne will do so. Judgment be unto this Vayne. wastes time getting the Raptors, so gets onto the Rift late and doesn't even get control wards. Can we switch to the money? Oh, I don't know, I reckon that was a control ward if he waited 2 seconds. Oh, that's pretty upsetting.
The resets now having taken place. So the support's going to have a big job on their hands now to try and assert how they want to try set this one up.
Nobody else at level 13 now. We'll start to upgrade his allies' items. Big moment for Gravitas.
Surely you start to get concerned about the fact that you've got an overlapping contest between the Elder and the Baron.
Yeah, that'll start to become an issue, especially for the winning team in terms of map control, that being Gravitas right now. It'll be a good test, actually, for the rookie squad. And Prayless, how can they play around the map? What can they get done?
The decision-making choices, obviously draft being one, but the ability to press the buttons and do the game being the other side of the coin.
So they need to really respect this Baron. It could be done at any moment. Gravitas are starting that one up now. Pensanet have seen it again. The wards haven't been cleared. That ward's been there more than once. They'll see them doing it. It's getting low. Rogue sprinting into the area. Just wants to get pushed back.
Rogue is wanting to try and force this one out right now. Still, it's his ultimate. There goes the Culling. Burnt out very early on. The Ornhorn coming on in. Gonna find it onto free in the river as the flash jump goes in. Solely going cataclysmically huge. As the backline of Biopamper says hello, he dives in with the boys this time, but just no damage to get the job done. He falls down. It's the Vayne show. Here we go. Double kill starts off. Bradiff can get back in the backline, pumping out big DPS to slow things down as Beats falls. And Bradiff reasserts himself as the dominant force in this team fight.
It just takes so long for the carries of Gravitas to kill the tanks of their opponents. Bio lives for a long time, and they're so zoned by the terrain that's thrown down. The turrets, the Rumble Equalizer, the Jarvan ultimate, Alistar through his ult as well, and suddenly Praydith and Getback have got the damage to win the fight themselves. The health bars well and truly in their favor. Now there's an Elder Dragon and a Baron on the Rift.
They won't risk that one, but Gravitas are definitely posturing around it, getting them second
Yeah, you can't recall just in case.
Gonna have to wait for the meantime. Rogue is on his way. We'll have wards to chuck over. Been doing a great job so far of clearing those wards out.
We can actually look at the wards that have been placed by Pensanet. There's one very curious one which is just behind the Drake pit, the one that's still alive right now. That doesn't look like a very conventional ward, but it can provide really good information. For example, Gravitas start the Drake. They want to see on that side of the wall where our opponents. They'll see the ward go down. That's actually an indicator they're in the pit.
Yep.
They know it's being done, right?
Yep.
And that's without wards or vision in the pit itself. So I like creative vision like that. Rogue has always been someone that does place very different ward positionings at certain moments. It gets quite creative. But now they have control. They're starting to win those team fights. Of course, it will move.
Ultimates are all online, but summoners are left to be desired right now. Flash is available on Vayne, but it's not available on Helios. The Ornhorn coming on out through that river once again. Doesn't find much success.
Beats has a ridiculously big flank. He is well by himself.
He's on his own right now. The Culling coming out, spreading damage across far. Nobody jumping on in to back him up to make sure this pincer maneuver takes place. Rogue is there. Righteous Glory to slow them down. Cataclysm onto 2. Flash gone out. The Equalizer onto 2. The members stuck inside. Unable to find the damage to really get the job done. As nobody just flame spits. He's the tanky version of Rumble. And they're going to pick up an Elder.
They get the Elder. They'll run to Baron as well, Skibby.
Oh.
No one can deal with the Ord. He's hit level 14. He's got the 2 item upgrades. And suddenly, he's unkillable. And this Lucian just threatening, not really doing anything, but just being there scares them. And they're able to get the pick on a Rogue. And they'll go from objective to objective. And there's no contest available.
Scary times right now for Pensanet.
It's these clutch moments around objectives where it feels like Pensanet have been suffering. Especially in their game yesterday, but now Gravitas, they've got everything they could want to try and win this game. They just need to do it. We'll see this fight again. You can see Beats just threatening on the flanks, and just nobody survived. The fact that nobody lives for as long as he does just standing there, and all Gravitas need to do is stand behind him, hit the closest target. He's still there. They've decided the closest target at a certain point will just become the Elder Dragon, and he's still there. It takes all of them to get through him, and they left the Dragon at 3,000 health by the time this happened. So Prayless keeps the aggro, they just turn around and they collect it.
Either way they turn, They are met with damage, they are met with threats. They were stuck between a rock and a hard place. And they're going to be stuck in that position, Rusty, for a little bit longer now. Elder and Baron buffs available online with a soul. These are some buffed up champions right now.
Yeah, they couldn't really get stronger. They are still scaling champions, so of course as the game progresses they'll get stronger, but with the current buffs on them compared to their opponents, this should be the moment. They're threatening one lane currently. Get Back is pushing mid, he has teleport. So it seems like they're going to ram their way into a single destination. That's going to be top lane. Equalizer not even being used to clear the wave right now to slow them down. He's going to get back to base by recalling, not teleporting. This could actually take too long. They're going to concede the inhibitor for sure.
Tower falling on down. Mid lane and bot lane still quite healthy, but as you said, inhibitor is low.
Oh, looking for the end.
They want to end this game, and why would you not? They are beaming with confidence. The Allhorn's not going to do much, but look graphically amusing on your screen. The first tower to fall on down.
Their pressure's going to start to build here. Pensinet gets some flanks available if they would like. They've got the turrets to place down as well. Eyes are on Rogue, a big part of the engage. They want to stop this game from just outright ending right now.
How can the Bruisers, how can the Initiators of Petanet GG try to set this one up? Because that is falling on down. He's had enough. He's had a guts from. He wants to try and make something happen.
Bio.
But he is low. Bio coming into the backline, jumping in huge as the Cataclysm comes across, layering that on top with the Equalizer. It's just not enough, Rusty. Petanet GG do not have the damage to sustain the onslaught that Gravitas are bringing towards this game. Double kill for Fame, double damage to the core, and the Nexus will fall on down.
And Gravitas are able to start the second week of the OPL and finish it with a fantastic performance now, even in their win-loss record. Not that bad.
Not that bad by any stretch of the imagination. Gravitas really showcasing what they can do in a 2-2 record. Looks pretty impressive.
And it was very easy to say in their first victory. It was against Mammoth. Someone had to win that game, right? You could look at it and say they had moments. Praelis was a very strong Echo. But this game, the Echo's banned away. Nobody steps up on the Ornn as well, puts in a pretty good performance. The team play from them definitely felt like it was there. But that also feels like it's something sorely lacking from their respective opponents in this one of Penta.
The objective control was fantastic. The esteemed roster of Gravitas, the ability to flex if need be. But today, out come the All-Stars, and an all-star performance they showcased. As we jump back to the desk with Nick Boy and Spawn, as Nick's just currently adjusting himself.
Checking his mic's on.
Checking his mic, clarifying the voice. Back to you.
Every time I'm adjusting myself. We gotta check these idioms between countries.
I need to check that I'm not muted. I'm not. No, I am. I'm absolutely muted. So he threw a little bit too early, but that's okay.
How do we feel?
I feel
about
really happy.
Gravitas?
Do you know what I like? I love when a player that I don't know all that much about has one of those moments where they go, I am a new person within League of Legends, but now you have to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was Puma's game, like the entirety of it. Like Vayne is not a traditional marksman in the current meta.
Yep.
Taking it into a heavy dive comp where it's a good pick, but you have to play it like really, really confidently, and then having a fantastic game. It was very enjoyable to watch.
Gravitas not that bad. Puma, pretty bloody good. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
How are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling good.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's not much else you could say.
So the guys in my team room were saying you're a little bit of a Vayne one trick in solo queue every now and again. Is that your comfort pick in games like this?
I was planning to play Vayne in this meta because normally you just play 4 tanks and Vayne just hits them. It's like really simple stuff. So yeah.
And talk to me about some of those team fights because you had like a flanking Lucian, like steals for dragons going on. How do you guys like stay like as a team and understand exactly how you want to approach the fights with double marksman comps?
We just play it slow. If the AD has no flash, then Ornn can just ult and zone him while we hit the front line. And J4, we just have to wait until he ults like someone else, and then I can like go hard in ping.
And is that how you want to play the game? Like, are you this aggressive? Because, like, obviously, for people that haven't watched, like, have watched previous OPL, they wouldn't have known much about you. So, is that, are you one of those players that does like to be aggressive, or how would you describe your style of League of Legends?
Just like farm it out until I have like 3 items or 2 items, and then we can team fight. It's more of a draft issue, so yeah, that's why.
And how are you feeling about Gravitas? Jake's officially declared you guys not that bad.
I guess getting his validations is pretty good.
There you go.
So, but what were your expectations of the season? Because there's been a lot of chatter about you guys online, right? From no expectations to you guys can be something good. I think Swiper on Twitter called you guys like underrated in his opinion. So what is your opinion on the current team and what are your goals?
I think the ultimate goal is to win the split, obviously, but that'll take some time. So I think our goal is just to make the gauntlet run first.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations again on the win. May there be many more couch visits ahead in your future. And we are in your future. We'll be back right after this short break.
Stacking that with the equalizer, splitting this team apart in the middle of the bush, down straight through river. Nobody fighting the first one, nobody fighting a double. Drake was low and Drake will not be stolen away, so that's a Dragon Soul picked up here. Mountain one at that as the Allhorn goes on to Praetor. He's low, he's stunned, he's CC'd out in Narnia. Firepanther stuck in the pit himself, he needs support. Soli says hello, Soli says clap, but Soli will fall on down. It's looking good so far, and potentially Penanet GG can get themselves back into this one as the flame goes spinning across. Shutdown comes across there onto Orn. The flash jump goes in. Soli going cataclysmically huge as the backline of Firepanther says hello. He dives in with the boys this time, but just no damage to get the job done. He falls down. It's the Vayne show. Here we go. As the Cataclysm comes across, layering that on top with the equalizer. It's just not enough, Rusty. Penanet GG do not have the damage to sustain the onslaught that Gravitas are bringing towards this game. Double kill for Vayne, double damage to the core, and the Nexus will fall on down.
Imagine if you took Coca-Cola No Sugar and full-on froze it. Well, now you don't have to. Head down to Macca's and try the new frozen Coke No Sugar for just $1. Exclusive to Macca's.